not a YouTuber, just like making videos. And I'm just sitting back enjoying the show, seeing these people pull out their pro-black card when it's convenient. Now, if you follow my videos, you know there's a level of consistency there. From my first video, Message to Jared Taylor, I pretty much stayed on the same path. Every now and then I may deviate and so forth. But I'm seeing some of these guys, their stint on YouTube has been one debacle after the other one. And when they find themselves in hot water or under fire, they can just, whip out that old pro-black card. Talk about black people, talk about unity and so forth. This way they can detour people from the mistakes they've made, from the foolishness and tomfoolery that they was involved in. They can say we need to go after the white racist and so forth. You know who's been going after the white racist? Me. My first video, Message to Jared Taylor. Yeah, you can thank me later. That's why I'm sitting back and I'm laughing, I'm smirking. I'm like, people can't be seriously and that serious. And that's what's happening. See, the thing is with me, I'm not going to come out with a video about let's go after these white racists. I'm simply going to do it, But the thing is, going after white people, these racists, I'm like, it's way too vague. It's like going after the wind. It's just that white people, these bigots, when they spew out their hateful rhetoric, I'll just swipe it down. Certain things like black people have smaller brains. Which if you've seen my videos, some dissertation that was put together by some fool that's part of the American Renaissance, and which was founded by Jared Taylor, and how I just completely, smashed his theory. See, that's the only thing you can do. You can't just say because white people, they have freedom of speech like black people do. So, when they put together, when white people, as I said before, when white people say these hateful things, you have to use logic to crush them and so forth. That's why I consider myself the master debater. Not that I'm smart, it's just that, when people just say stupid stuff, I see right through it. And I just use logic and so forth. Now, people talk about, and as I said, people want to go and they want to use the pro-black card, and people want to kick knowledge. They want to talk about slavery, you're still a slave and so forth. In my video, Who's a Slave, which nobody watched, but I don't care because I'm convinced people in this decadent corner of YouTube is not really interested in no real knowledge. They state that, but I don't think they're interested. I've stated that, I question that whole slave thing about how black people, these black dudes, just like to throw slavery around. You're still a slave, you're slave-minded, you're slavery around, and so forth. And I've said, I talked about how there are people that are still slaves today. Not these mental slaves, but the human sex trafficking. People who have no free will, that can't come and go as they please. And nobody can answer that. Nobody, they talk about when there's real slavery going on underneath our noses. Children. But we don't talk about that because the thing is, it's like what Madhead said. We have to understand, the world doesn't revolve around black people. And we're not the only people that's been oppressed and going through harsh times. I can understand our struggle is important and that we should talk about it, because as we growing up, going through school and watching movies, we hardly ever hear our stories, and that certain information about black people is being revealed in books. And I know that right now people are all like, oh, you don't have to read books. That's a whole bunch of Boulder Dash. But, I just want to, we have to take a look back, and I want to take a more universal stance. That's why in my future videos, I don't want to just talk about black this and black that and, you know, black. I want to talk about, you know what I'm saying, certain problems that's plagued this world. You know what I'm saying? Endangered animal species, pollution, you know, toxic waste, because I know about that stuff too, and so forth. But yeah, I'm like, but as I've stated, how can you run around here and talk about how black people are still slaves while ignoring real life slaves? And the thing is that if you're a slave and this and that, I'm like, you're gonna run away from whatever you're trapped in, or you're trapped in the matrix and so forth. You know, you're gonna run. It's like something happened in my years ago in my town. You know, they found in there was an Asian woman, maybe she was Vietnamese, and she was disorientated. She was just walking the streets half naked, you know what I'm saying, all messed up. And I guess some people found her and gave her to a church, but she was a mail order bride. Basically, she was part of human trafficking, you know. And I guess her, you know what I'm saying, and this was in a fancy neighborhood, and I guess the rich dude had power over her. And then she had to get away from him. I don't know what this dude was making her do or whatever, but she had to get away. She had no place to go. She wasn't from this country. Didn't know how to speak English. She just had to get whatever she was going through with this guy. She got the hell out of there. She probably didn't care what kind of fancy house he lived in, how much money he had. She didn't know where she wanted to go. She left. That's real slavery. That's like what Malcolm X said. The field Negroes, when he said they want to run, they said, where you want to go? Any place is better than here. So hence, this female, this Vietnamese woman, in her mind, she was like, I got to get out of here. Any place is better than here. You know what I mean? But hence, you got these same dudes talking about, you know, the slave mentality. But they're sitting around kicking their feet up, eating Doritos, making YouTube videos, talking about how we're slaves. No, I don't buy it. You know what I'm saying? Don't insult my intelligence. Hence, black people are not slaves. They don't have use for slaves anymore like that. Hence, now there may be some similarities, like the black life doesn't have much value in that we're disposable, but hence, some blacks treat their own children as they're expendable because they don't take care of them. So hence, if you treat your own kids as they're disposable, other people are too. Hence, you know what I'm saying, you're neglecting your most valuable resource there. And now, going into these here on YouTube, these bootlickers, these snowflakes, you know what I'm saying, the Painless Risens, the David Carls, and you know what I'm saying, I've been making rebuttal videos against these guys for a while. You know what I'm saying, I'm almost at legendary status. I'm not gonna pat myself on the back for it because, you know, anybody could do it, you know. But it's funny to me that there's certain individuals just now doing it. Same dudes criticized me for it, saying, oh, they have the right to say don't shoot down the messenger, but hence they want to do it, you know, and so forth. But this is something I've been doing, and I've said it that these people's arguments are weak. Like, if I come across a dude and I think he's an Oreo and sellout, I'm gonna call him that, but I'm gonna commence to breaking down his arguments. I'm gonna pinpoint certain things that they say, and I'm gonna rip it apart. Like, for instance, when Painless said slavery wasn't lucrative, when I consider that completely outrageous. The simple fact that people are investing in the private prison corporation, knowing that, you know what I'm saying, all the money it takes to run a prison, or run a jail, you know, hence you gotta pay for the inmates' food, you gotta clothe them, you gotta pay for their medication, and on top of that, you gotta pay the salaries of the COs and the working staff there, but they're still able to invest and generate a profit. So yeah, what Painless says, you know what I'm saying, didn't make sense. But hence, I'm going to go after him, and I'm going to take apart certain things that he says. As other people, only thing they do, they'll sit up there and make a 20-minute video and call them an Oreo and say this and that, but not actually break down their points and so forth. Some of these people are not built for the intellectual arena. They want to do it because it's cool or whatever, because they've been involved in that cooking shit. And all that cooking and roasting shit has gotten played out. I remember I did a video to roast or to not to roast. and I took heavy hits for that, you know. And now I'm seeing that, okay, now people are realizing what I was saying. Because the reason why the cooking shit got played out was, I'm not saying it's completely played out, is that that's what their, you know what I'm saying, that was their call to arms. Anytime they had a disagreement with somebody, they just roast them, or they cook them, or they want to roast and cook people that aren't even roasters, that simply had a disagreement with them and said, hey man, I don't like this, and they'll just turn around and cook them, even though they're not cookers, they're not roasters, and so forth. It got played out, and now certain people want to move on, and they want to move into an arena, and they don't know proper etiquette. You know what I'm saying? But then they crucify somebody else for knowing how to speak good. Hence, me as myself, I learned how to talk through my mom, who was a school teacher, a black woman. But it's funny like this, because it goes back into the plantation days. Now, didn't the slave master not want us to be educated, want us to be illiterate? But hence, now that black people have finessed and mastered the English language, now these people want to complain and talk about, oh, you're speaking the King's English, you know what I'm saying, you're copying off the white man. Hence, if these same bucks knew their history, they will know that the English language has its roots in Africa. Matter of fact, Hollow Point Redux hit it on the nail when he said that white people are teaching us the same things that we've taught them. Hence, civilization begun in Africa. You know, if you look at where civilization began in Europe, in Greece, where is Greece at on the map? Oh wow, isn't it such a coincidence that the area where civilization began in Europe is very close to Africa? You know what I'm saying? Notice how the Romans, the soldiers, you know, carried spears, you know what I'm saying, similar to, you know, Africans who carried spears and so forth. So yeah, so a lot of stuff that white people teach us, we taught them through civilization, but hence when we speak, or when we have dignified speech, now we're looked at as you know what I'm saying, house Negroes and so forth, because that's the new insult. When you have no good argument against somebody, hence, okay, just pull out your pro-black card. They're acting white. I'm like, hence, what is acting white? Hence, if we taught white people the meaning of civilization, you know what I'm saying, and then we act civilized, and then how is it so-called acting white when white people, they got a lot of their stuff, things that they do from other, you know what I'm saying, civilizations of people, or tribes of people. White people learned a lot from the Native Americans and so forth. Each culture they encounter, they learn stuff from, and they take it and they adapt it and so forth. And then when you try to take it back, hence you're acting white. Like hence, like it's like a black man who wants to you know what I'm saying, do rock music and so forth. And you say that, oh, he's being white or so forth, or he's trying to do white people's music, when you know that music had its origins with us. A lot of things have their origin with us. But hence, these same people that are running around here trying to talk intelligent, and the killer part is, when somebody has to constantly say that they're intelligent, you know, I have to question their intelligence. You don't have to remind us in every sentence that you are an intelligent person, and so forth. But, you know what I'm saying, but a lot of these people, they pull out their pro-black card and they want to go into the field Negro and the house Negro thing, and that's all misconstrued too. Hence, I can understand the whole field nigger and house nigger thing is a metaphor, you know, because you probably had dudes black people who worked in the fields, you know what I'm saying, that was, you know what I mean, that kissed up to the boss. Where you may have black dudes that worked inside the house that wanted to cut his throat and so forth. Because you have to understand, the master made his profit in the field. You know what I mean? That's where, you know, what went on in the field was actually more important. Because that's, you know, picking cotton or whatever that he had the slaves doing, you know, that was important. That's how he generated his profit. The house Negroes, that was for the white man's own, you know what I'm saying, for his own, for domestic needs. You know what I'm saying, cooking his food, you know what I'm saying, doing his laundry. But his profit was out there in the field. And hence, we use the term Uncle Tom a lot and so forth. And I can understand the term change meanings. I still advise people to read the book, which I can understand people in this corner won't. But but Uncle Tom was a field Negro. Uncle Tom worked in the field. He was needed there because what was going on in the field was very important. That's why, you know what I'm saying, the slave masters that bought Tom, they knew how smart he was, and they had him out in the field because that's where he made his profit. Hence, but people don't talk about this. Hence, all these idiots that want to talk about this pro-black shit, their videos are frail. They're water thin. Matter of fact, they don't have much videos about blackness or what went on in Africa. You know what I mean? Their dissertations are weak. But hence, when they're in hot water, they just whip out that pro-black card and they're like, hey, you know what I'm saying? We're pro-black. Black people need to stick together. We need to go after the house Negroes. And hence, I would say right now that, you know what I'm saying, as far as the better men, these bootlickers and the snowflakes, the ones that we've deemed to have a pretty strong white following, they're making a lot more sense. Because right now in this corner, we got the smart people, we got the stupid people that want to be the smart people, and the smart people are being looked at as the stupid people. Hence, people just want to see somebody go at somebody. They don't care how ridiculous their dissertation is. Like, for instance, if I want to go after a Queasy, and let's say that in my video Twitter Queasy, I talk about the mating season of the humpback whale. I don't even talk about a Queasy. I'm talking about humpback whales, and people will still thumb me up and say, oh, you speak the truth and so forth. I don't even think people are even watching these videos and so forth. People are not able to even put together proper rebuttals, proper debates, able to analyze or process information efficiently and so forth. But as I've said, you know, people are going to continue to pull out that pro-black card. You know what I'm saying? I guess everybody want to be an intellectual and so forth. But, you know, that's all I want to say. Thanks for watching, and sally forth.